to the environmental deans and directors of the National Council for Science and the Environment webinar series on education and open education resources. My name is I'm the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences at New Hampshire University, and I'm our series moderator. I start out going with a few guidelines of the series. If done already, please call in using your computer, and other than the presenter and the moderator should be muted. What I'd like to do as far as questions go is if you could submit them using the WebEx chat box and address everyone. You get questions during the presentation, however, we'd like to wait till the end for those questions to be addressed. And a good deal of questions that come in, I will essentially and then read to the presenter if need be. If not, then the presenter will address the questions directly from the chat box. And know that the webinar is being recorded. I just use terms that are used in this webinar series. First of all, you can hear the acronym LMS, which of course is a learning management system, and perhaps Blackboard is the best known. Fully online, which is defined as 75% or greater of content is delivered online, and that could pertain to both programs and courses. You hybrid or blended, which 25 to 74% of content delivered online, and again pertaining to programs and courses. Of course, we measure the acronym MOOCs, Open Online Courses. The reason that we put this webinar series together was the fact that online enrollment has been increasing dramatically. Over the past 10 years, there's been about an order of magnitude growth in online enrollment compared to about a 60% growth in traditional higher ed. And the proof for the next few years is that may slow down a little from a double-digit annual growth to a single-digit annual growth. Two slides were put together by EduAdventures and market research outfit in Boston. Well, I'm glad that we can introduce Anant Agarwal, the president of EdX. The exciting things that are going on there. Passing you the ball.
Everybody, this is Anant Agarwal. Let's chat a little bit about it and how we are trying to read education. I just want to stop. Can you hear me?
But we don't see your slides.
Oh, you don't?
No.
All right. See what's going on here. Now.
There you
go. Perfect. Good. I'm glad I checked. To start by asking you a really quick question. We think about, what kinds of changes we've seen in the past, transformations we've seen in education over the past 200 years. Okay, so I want you to think about what might be really big changes in education, and it's hard to point out some really big innovations. So as an example, look at this classroom. This was a classroom at MIT or 60 years ago, and now here's the classroom today. It's in color, and the technological improvement. In a few 5 seconds, you can think about what about here. And you will notice these sliding blackboards. And so, in this Institute of Advanced Learning, we have sliding blackboards, which is nifty. If you look back 200 years, it's to have big innovations in learning. We have seen changes in virtually every other field known to mankind, in business, in transportation, in communication, in healthcare, and this goes on and on. Education is one field that any major improvement through technology. So what we did to try to change that status quo, profit venture of Harvard MIT, of $16 to year. It's a not-for-profit, and EdX will make its platform available as open source, so that anybody in the world can use the software and teach courses based on that software. And if people around the world can also contribute to the development of the platform, so that we can be much more speedily than if we were doing it completely ourselves. EdX is a portal, learning, and if you go to edx.org and take online courses. Partner universities that offer courses on the platform. So Harvard offers courses at Harvard X, MIT as MIT X. University U will offer courses as University X. Partners, in addition to MIT and Harvard, Berkeley, the UT system joined us with their 15 institutions. We'll be announcing about the institutions in the near future. Slide, you see the edX portal, and you can see several courses ongoing as we speak. And some of the enrollments are pretty staggering, and I'll talk more about that as we go along. There are courses in software, solid chemistry, public health, and artificial intelligence, and so on. The edX. Our goal here is to dramatically expand access to education worldwide, and by through a good effort of applying technologies to education and creating learning means for them to learn. And we also want to reinvent campus education models, where students on campuses should be able to take classes that are a combination of online and in person. So we will do a mission, if you will. Of course, in the spring of this year, we started work on this late summer of last year. And our first course was the Circuits and Electronics course that launched in March of this year. And it was pretty staggering. And to put that in perspective, I talk about what you see, admissions at a place like MIT. So we have about 18 students applying to MIT last year, and it admits a little less than 10%, about 100 students. 1,500 students come in, and why this rolling down feature, and then a small number of students. So it's student being pushed into the small end of a funnel. Take a large number of students and try to push them up the small end of a funnel. I like to call this flipping the funnel, where anybody can come and take the course. And staggeringly, 155,000 students enroll in the course from 162 countries. Number of students enrolling in the course, and those students that got through the course at various levels. So these numbers in further perspective, 1,000 is greater than all the alumni of MIT in its 150-year history. 7,200, roughly 7,200 students passed the course and obtained a certificate. 150 students that I teach on campus, and this I have to teach for to do here for years, for close to 25 years, before you're able to teach as many students as pass this course. And Anant that has us all excited, the resources that we used for a class with this many students as we use for a 100 or a 150-person class on our campuses. What computing technology can which we can teach by orders of magnitude, and it's pretty amazing the kind of reach of this technology. What I believe might be the new classroom, and so let's play a guessing game here. In a way, I'll have you guess where it is. In the land far away, completely unbeknownst to us. A school teacher actually got together about these students in his classroom, and school students, 15, 16-year-old students, and he took this course. This course, and this is a sophomore class, a sophomore junior level class at MIT. It's a hard class, and these high schoolers were taking. He used a blended model for this class, where students would watch videos and interactive exercises on EdX at their homes, and they would go into class. And the picture here are what in class. So you see them working with each other in little groups. You see them interacting with each other in a little laboratory, solving problems. So, yes, to think about, where do you think this might be happening? So hopefully you get a better sense of where this is happening. This is Mongolia, of all places, where a professor flipped a class and had a number of schoolers taking the course. I view this as the new face of the classroom. Things are going to look like in the future, where we move the large impersonal lectures to much more in-person interaction, where there's an interaction with the computer will probably place these lectures. So let's take a look at what an interactive online class might look like. Here is a artificial intelligence class from Berkeley X, CS188X, and there are notes to this course. So see a variety of tabs on the top. There's courseware, a discussion forum, and so on. You just dashboard for the student, and you see instructor tab, where the instructor can keep track of his or her students. That is where students spend most of their time. So on EdX is organized by week, and the week might do what are called learning sequences. Because you see a sequence. So in EdX, we replace the lecture with a sequence of interleaved videos and interactive exercises. A 5 to 10 minute video, and you intersperse them with interactive exercises. So why do we create these learning sequences? This is exploiting and taking advantage of a modern generation of school-going students, way more comfortable with online technology than I myself where very comfortable watching videos and learning from videos and things of that sort. And our own classrooms, we see attendance commonly dwindling, and it's not interesting if towards the end you might see 20 or 30% of the students stood up to lecture. And in fact, during which students are downloading watch the videos, easily enough, seem to be being watched at between 9 and 2 o'clock. Students do with the online model is to take a class and able to do the course at their pace, and they don't have to they don't have to come into class. It's completely flexible. So here, students, they can also do it at their own pace. So if you go to lecture, commonly, certainly one common, they go to class and in about 10 minutes, I lose the professor. and then to spend the next 40 minutes, randomly scrambling, taking notes, and not following what is going on. A student can pause the lecture, and they can the lecture, and they can even mute the lecturer. So this can really use a simple approach to watch the videos at their own pace. And many of the students are telling us that we watch the videos quite a bit, and again and again. They have these interleaved exercises between the videos where they test their own skills and their own knowledge in terms of having their exercises enable them to be interactive. And the concept of a learning sequence that we've created and user interface so the idea of a learning sequence allows much better learning outcomes. So if I were to jump ahead very quickly to the next slide, sequences promote active learning. So learning is a big phrase in online education, and various studies that came up with the basis of this concept was in Lockhart in 1972. Demonstrated through a bunch of studies that the learning and the attention of the students relates to the depth of mental processing. If I simply watch a lecture, it's the processing. But if I watch a lecture and I'm actively engaged, then learning is much, much deeper. And so a lot of the recent studies on active learning demonstrate that active learning can be a very good thing. And having interactive exercises between the videos, it really allows students to check their understanding, and if they've gotten it, to go back and watch things again until they get it. There are, it really helps with making more efficient, but learning can dramatically improve outcomes in addition to making things more efficient. So go to the slide. So the learning sequences replaced lectures, and these are much more interactive and for the students to participate in active learning. Of course, are the homeworks, of course, as you can see, there'll be projects where as part of the project they can do some laboratories, they can do some program exercises, and I'll show you some examples of that shortly. Part of these online courses is a social component, and that I should follow. And I'll go into more details of that and I'll show you a screenshot of the discussion forum and show what it looks like. There's also a week where students can collaborate, and we'll get into those in a second. I don't have it. I see on the screen here, but of our courses also have a free textbook. So the number of textbook vendors books on our site. So here, Paul, of the snippet. So learning sequence comprises video snippets integrated with exercises. Of capturing video for these online courses. And the way that I captured this video here is what I call a Khan style video. Okay, this was fired by Sam Khan, who does handwriting on a tablet approach to creating videos. So let me do a quick little example of a snippet, and you will see. Hopefully, the sound will come through as well. Something is that I realized that in a webinar style, what is exactly what student experience might look like. You see something on the screen, the writing, and this an instructor, and this effect was really popularized by Sal Khan, capturing video. But students seem to like this approach with writing quite a bit. It looks like sent a little message. Looks like the audio from the video did not go through. So sorry about that. Like the webinar technology doesn't automatically take the video and send it through. Then if I can play this again and hold the speaker right next to the microphone. Let me try that out. Okay, I'm going to speaker the phone right next to the speaker, and so you can hear it when I play it again. Now, look, people are still not hearing anything. Sorry about that. But what the lecturer is doing is, speaking, and handwriting is going on. As lots of studies, this kind of student pacing of content, when they're using a video or rewinding a video and pacing themselves. There's, for example, the Mayer study in the Journal of Educational Computing Research shown that students who were able to control the pacing of the content, the students were able to perform much better than the segment where students were not able to control their pacing. And yet, these are pretty primitive, but very solid studies that have demonstrated these ideas. Of the course, as I said, one of the videos. Next part is these interactive exercises. So, an example of an interactive exercise uses that there's I don't have audio until the end. So you will see an example of an interactive exercise where the student has to enter a chemical equation, and a chemical equation. Computer automatically grades them. They keep until they get the right answer. So let me play this video. So as you can see, wrong and then correct, and they got it right. So the interesting phenomenon, which is that these provide students instant feedback. Feedback is a really big deal. We all remember submitting homeworks and not knowing whether we got something is right or wrong, and you submit homework, and then 2 weeks later, you get the homework partially graded, at which time you lost all interest. So in feedback, where you get things quickly, is a big deal, and it's a kind of of our system. Where when you play video games, one reason you're really engaged is the instant feedback, where you bring the results of your actions. So EdX has a very rich set of auto-graded exercises. There's chemical equations, there's telegraphy planes, there's words and various forms of text, and this goes on and on. And just one example. But I spent a little bit more time on the concept of in feedback. And the student, and because instant feedback, they work a lot harder to get the right answer. So there's an anecdote where students who took a spring course, discussion forum, and in fact, the same comment we hear from a number of students that they go asleep at night dreaming of the green tick mark. The green tick mark has become an EdX card symbol. Remark, took the courses in the spring, and then the students are now taking a software as a service course from Berkeley. And I had a discussion forum where I saw this quote from that student, where he had this to say about the green tick mark, which is so symbolic of EdX. So he said, have I missed you? And referring to the green tick mark in saying so, and students are really like the instant feedback because they check themselves very, very quickly. And instant feedback, there's science behind it. And feedback improves learning as well. In fact, the study by Chen et al. Has shown that feedback has a significant effect on student performance with that to students who've not had rapid feedback. So feedback is important, but instant feedback is also extremely important for students. And it's been shown to directly correlate to learning outcomes. Here is that online learning we get really efficient in terms of each large number of students very effectively. At the same time, a lot shown, online can have direct influence on the quality of education as well. The discussion forum, the social aspect is a really big part of our course, and it's really funny. I was talking to a professor in anthropology who was lamenting the fact that our students spend time on Facebook and the class and they spend time on Facebook. So my on that is that if you can't link them, join them. And so we pull in the social in the classroom and leverage it. And exactly that. So a discussion forum is part of a course. And so a student go into the discussion forum and they are discussing things among themselves and it's learning how much they're learning from each other. And so here's an interesting story. When we have a course with 155,000 students, we have a sleepless nights going into the course. So how are we going to answer all the questions from the students that are taking the course? So two things really help us. So if you respond, if you can you see the mouse as I move the mouse around the screen? I mean, WebEx is really sharing. Oh, so you can see my mouse. So notice this little thing here. It's like you see on Facebook where students can upvote a comment. So students say, I can. That deal. Some of class, many students have the same question. But they're able to come into a discussion forum, and someone has already asked the question, they can like the question or upvote the question, and so they can they don't have to ask the same question again. So that's the first filter for all the questions by utilizing some of these computer technologies. This is published in class because an issue or a problem, then I'll get a stream of students coming into my room asking the same question. The thing that happens is that the willingness to support a large number of students is a whole bunch of students stepped up and they're helping each other. So when a student asks a question, most of the answers are provided by other students. In fact, for our course with 55,000 students, think about what mean response time was for the average question. Okay, I'll guess in your mind and I'll give you the answer. 11 minutes. So the median response time was 11 minutes for questions on the discussion forum. So this means that if a student asks a question, an answer in 11 minutes. That kind of service, even top private institutions will be hard put to provide. And in fact, we're teaching the spring course, the course around the world, and did on-campus class with about 20 students. And some of the students pointed out that actually go to the online discussion forum in the MOOC and ask their questions there because they get very quick responses there as opposed to trying to go up, pound on the door of a K or ask a question on the on-campus discussion forum. So there's amazing how we can encourage the opponents to improve learning online. So one of the learning that has been stated in the past has been laboratories. Now, how do you add online laboratories in courses? Videos and answers so that we can help students think analytically and develop analysis skills. But the teach design. So EdX is building online virtual laboratories. And these close to gaming environments, as you might imagine. You see a virtual laboratory. So students see a paper, mouse, see the blank sheet of paper. This will help teach students design and construction. Where you give people a blank sheet of paper, they have to build something. Okay, so we have to develop what will be as opposed to analyzing what is. Of the blank sheet of paper, it's very clear, but components. Okay, think of those as Lego blocks that students can use to build things, such a components. And there are analysis tools. Building using Lego blocks An example might be, okay, apply gravity and see what happens to the building. Okay, slab, and here do things like the DC analysis or find out what form looks like. So I'm going to video of a student that do a laboratory and checking out the results. So this is what students get 9 skills, and believe it or not, we can actually do that online as well. And notice that it is just building something with Legos. So that this rapidly built up this little circuit and ran the analysis and thought that this is what the output should have looked like. The laboratories, the sophistication to learning that takes it to the next level. So also introduce music into the laboratories, and there again it's shown that introducing multimedia content in a judicious manner into courses can again improve learning outcomes. So let me try something with the music. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the music, and let me see if I can get the music to play on my laptop here. It's going to be hard to do because I have a microphone plugged in, and the microphone plugged in, so I won't see the music on the laptop. This is what I can do. If I unplug my microphone, then I'll be able to get it. Right. Okay, let me try this. I'm going to unplug my microphone and flap and see if this works. It's an experiment after all. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Great. Point out that they can hear me now. Can you hear? Perfect. Good. So I'm glad you heard the music. So what you saw there was the music introduced in an online lab, and listen to what the music sounded and the output of the system they built, and then the circuit. And this is the music. What they built was a low-pass filter, filtered out the sharp tones and made it to sound very muffled. So students have first-hand experience listening to these things, and so this shows that recruiting performance has now gotten to a point where they're able to do all of these things online and provides a really rich learning experience. In a certificate of mastery, and so here's an example certificate that students get from MIT EdX. So certificate indicates that the student passed the course and signed by a dean or interim dean of online learning at the university. So at the end of the day, students get something that they can hold in their hands and use it in the same jobs or applying to schools and things of that sort. A couple of statistics, we had students from 64 countries take the course. 25% were from the United States. Second most represented country was India. The third was UK. And a little game here. Let's see if you can guess the number 4 country. And so the answers, I can see the answers, and let's see if you get it right. Tell me what it is. I challenge you. China. Any other? Not Pakistan, not Asia, not Germany, not France, but it is Colombia. And I still haven't figured out why was number 4, but it was a very interesting stat nonetheless. The course, I really enjoyed the course. So we have a lot of data. We're gathering all kinds of data as students the course. Longer presentation, I can share a lot of data that we gather. How students are doing, responding in surveys and things like that. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like a personal quote. So here's a quote from a student from Pakistan who really enjoyed the course. Yeah, let me pause at this point, and then turn over for questions.
Great, Anant. We have a question. If you could scroll up your chat box, they can, from Ken Bentley, is probably the first one that came in. Can you scroll up on your chat box and see that one? Are there any plans?
Let me just get that.
Okay.
Let me put glasses here. Like, this is not what they used to be. Let's see. Yeah. I know. I'm not sure how our kids are so able to keep small font on the screen. The first one.
Yeah.
Plans for EdX to move towards a more competency-based model. Students complete each MOOC around a certain amount of time rather than a specific number of weeks. So a great question. So it turns out that one of those on EdX, the CS50X course, has a certain amount of duration, and for that course, as long as they turn in all the work by I think it's some date in March and do the exam, they will get a certificate. It's not time-based. Many uses have deadlines around weeks, and a raging debate right now as to whether providing deadlines is a good idea or it is better to students to completely pace themselves. I know, for me, if I don't have deadlines, I don't get things done. But I think it's a debate, and on EdX, people can offer courses either way, either with deadlines or with the time bound, and they can do work by a given amount of time. So is on any plans to bring in community colleges or community college systems as our newest partners. And just watch the news in a few days, and the Gates Foundation with community colleges. And for that grant is working with community colleges to bring courses in a blend model in those colleges and explore the extent to which this model can work in a community college. And in this, we will be announcing the specific community colleges and specifically what we will be doing in community colleges. Let me the next question. The chemistry or biology virtual labs. So it is a yes, and we are developing more and more. So if you go to the 391X course, this is the Introduction to Solid State Chemistry. So I will find you will find some simulations. You could call them laboratories. We have an interactive periodic table. There's a laboratory where they can play with molecular simulations and so on. And those are, think of them, interactive games that bring to life solid state chemistry. We're also doing the same thing in biology. So when a future course gets offered in biology, developing similar animations and simulations for for biology. The question is, let me that will there be a focus? Will it include more than just a focus on access? Will we be looking to do any work on students complete the courses? Drop rates and drop rates are pretty endemic given large number of students coming in. Reasons for the high drop rates. One is the quality of the course matters a lot. Is that on-campus class, there is a lot of help that students get and hand-holding that goes on. So that can help them, make a transition between not completing a course to really sticking on with the course and going through it. So looking to a number of things. One is that on our platform, we have built a hidden framework where to students through problems in a way that to answer the question, go beyond the right or wrong, where with the hidden framework, they have some hints if they go wrong and try to help them. Looking to create the social components so that students can interact in other modalities, that many whether in groups in person through meetups.com. And so there are a number of things that are happening, and EdX itself will be creating both hinting frameworks and personalized frameworks in our services that improve engagement with the students, so that we can bring students that would otherwise have problems. That has to do with edX course to be accepted for credit to graduation by each partner. Let me get to the next question. So a number of we've heard of students who've gotten for them have taken an edX course, and so we've heard of that anecdotally. UT system, the University of Texas system, has come with edX as a partner, and they announced that we'll be offering edX courses for credit. So student courses will be accepted for credit in the UT system. So that, you imagine this would take 3 to 5 years to get to, but looks like this is already already happening. Let me go to the next question. There's a question about analyze any of simulations all originally designed. So right now all our simulations are originally designed, but that we are collaborating with a number of organizations, include FET, fetchings onto edX. So that's happening as in FET, some really fascinating simulations, particularly in physics and mechanics. We also have done a simulation laboratory for electromagnetics and electricity in physics, and that will be coming online in the spring. So this let me quickly. A venue for a professor who has developed a full online course in histology for college students includes a virtual lab, so that instructor is displayed and learned without a microscope. That is for collaboration emerging from existing college courses at the University of South Carolina. So that our platform is open source, and so we will be able to work with others or teams anywhere in the world that contribute technology to the platform and have a virtual lab, microscope. This is very exciting. So the computer can sort of use this microscope and understand what you mean, and it's sort of deep dive, almost like think of it as a Google Earth for biology. We're diving down to arbitrary levels of depth and see what's going on. I think that is fantastic. And if you're interested in working with us, this was asked by Robert Ogilvy. Please email, and delighted to talk to you and see if we can, if you're interested in to support to have onto the edX platform. Does it have any plans to offer a complete program of study leading to a diploma? So the answer is yes. X is interested in offering sequence of courses, and we've announced that as well, where to take a sequence of courses and credential at the end of it. And so definitely of interest to as we get the resources. There's been talk, for example, of getting a sequence courses in public health, so that it can go through the sequence and a credential at the end of it in that entire sequence. So in the time, this is definitely going to happen. So next is the types of learning analytics in our system that progress as they move through each MOOC. So an extensive analytics system. We are gathering all kinds of data. Time students are spending on topic, repeating things. Every event, every answer that they produce is being captured. And so charts showing heat maps. Where are people spending time? We're showing, where students, how do outcomes correlate with whether students are watching videos versus doing exercises? What distribution of time being spent on various activities by students. So we're gathering just a huge amount of analytics. Question, which from financial models to sustain EdX on a larger scale. So, presenting with a number of approaches to achieve financial sustainability. Now, EdX is another. So we'd be quite happy to get to financial sustainability. Not looking to go IPO or nothing like that. So we definitely want to. Have a financial model, and there are ways we're thinking of doing that. So the one approach is that with students for certificates and get revenue that way. I've got a partnership with Pearson VUE where students can take a proctored exam anywhere in the world, and we'll charge for that as well. So there are ways in which we plan to generate revenue. Next question is. School direct students to EdX to complete course content. The course then have their progress captured and over to the institution's LMS. I thought about this, but schools are indeed directing students to EdX to try out courses and so on. To look at things like the exercises and content of the courses, but we don't have any plans at this minute to find a way to integrate that into the local campus LMSs. I think this is that we as well, and so the large number of LMSs out there, so I'm not quite sure how practical this is. And next is the plans to collaborate with Coursera or similar for-profits that college credit for courses. So with EdX or Coursera or Udacity, all the books have the same problem. Students take the courses and they don't get college credit. So it's the same problem with Coursera or EdX. So integration there will not help because everybody has the same problem. So what EdX is a couple of things. One is that it does a certificate, and to a university to figure out if they want to provide college credit for those courses. So the UT system, for example, has said that give college credit. Partnered with the VUE, the system that if a student comes up with a proctored certificate, they need to give credit. That student comes without any proctoring as part of their certificate. And so that clearly is working with universities. Some of them have offered to give college credit. Also, EdX is also working with agencies such as ACE and the International Baccalaureate and others at how many credit each course might be worth. And so those are all ongoing activities. But at the end of the day, you need two things. You need a proctor exam, which it has, and second is you need a university to be willing to give credit for a course. And so those things have to happen. I then partner with online proctoring companies like ProctorU as Pearson VUE. Oh, there. Now we partner with Pearson VUE, and we're doing one of our courses. We're announcing that pretty soon in terms of doing proctoring. So right, we don't have plans of working with other proctoring companies. It shows, next question, data that shows a comparison between student learning and proficiency from EdX versus conventional classes. So just coming out. So as one example, I partnered with the San Jose State University in California, where they're using the EdX platform to teach an online course in a blended model on their campus. Results are pretty impressive. So it's really a online class. It's only online class. EdX class with some in-person interactivity, and pretty impressive results there, where they've announced that the score for the midterm in spring of this year, when the class was 50, and in 2 terms now, in 2 of the exams that they've given in that course, scores have improved over the past terms by 20%. So the early data that is coming out, but I would not take it to the bank just yet. I think to do a more experiments and deep more deeply before we can conclusively that one approach is better than the other. We also did we all polls of our students. Any class of 20 took this course, and in just fully online. A small blended component to it, and of course we asked students felt about the course, and the students said in a majority that they would take a online class as in preference to a in-person campus class. Now I want to note that many students were volunteers, so it's quite clear that there was had a selection towards online classes. So it's not clear if the same will apply if we had a completely random pool of the course. So it is that it looks pretty good. I think for the questions, the next that showed up is more on how the resources were used for an EdX course, versional campus class. So I can definitely describe that. In a campus class that we have for this class, we have between 100 and 150 students, and at MIT, us might have order of 2 or 3 instructors assigned to it, and 3 teaching assistants. So the teaching assistants and instructors, it's on the order of about 6 to 7 people assigned to that course. Now the MOOC class, we had 155,000 students who started, and then, after the first homework, it was about 30 people. I forget the number now, but it's in my slide, and it came down to 7,200. So resources across the course. So I was teaching the course, and I was doing all the videos. So that was the work that I did. And who was creating the assessments, and so that's how we broke up the work. And, we had another colleague who was building the online tutorial experiments, time effort. So I would not count that as a kind of ongoing effort to teach the course. And then a number of TAs, the TAs were used to solutions, and they would pose solutions to problems. The TAs helped out on the discussion forum, although towards the course, I did not really have a big need to spend a lot of time on the forum because the students were helping each other. So that really the same course, the same could have been taught by a couple of professors and a couple of TAs, and to get the same level of, the same level of effectiveness for the students.
Why not? You've answered all the questions, and we certainly appreciate your time and all the insight you provided into EdX. A lot of people are watching. Thank everybody for joining this week, and hope you can join us next week. We'll be off next week, but the following week we take a break for Thanksgiving. Words for our audience.
Thank you all for attending, and there's nothing like experiencing it in person. So I encourage you to go to .org and sign up for a course and try it out yourselves. Thank you all.
Thanks everyone for joining us. This is John.
Bye-bye.
Bye.